Welcome to TimeBolt Office Hours on Thursday, April 11, 2024. You are live with Doug and Quinston. We're here to answer your questions, check your workflows, and generally just make sure that you get the best out of TimeBolt. Mark, we've got, how you doing? Is there something specific we can help you out with? You're definitely a fixture on our live streams. We appreciate you showing up.
I have a few questions for you.
Great. What can we help you with?
Maybe, for example, this one. I would like to ask for this merge similar consecutive cuts. If I create, for example, a few cuts and I press merge similar cuts, this will remove these cuts.
It will combine it. It'll be like one big blob. The reason this exists is because if you're exporting this file to DaVinci Resolve, if you have those splits in there, those splits will show up in DaVinci Resolve. The reason that button is there is because if you want a large blob instead of small, tiny clips, you can have that. It's just to make sure that you can combine cuts which are one after the other, because having a split between them doesn't make sense.
This will combine these cuts into one and they will disappear from my timeline.
One more thing that you need to remember is that if you have chapters attached to each of these clips, maybe one clip has one chapter, second clip has some other chapter, third clip has some other chapter. If you combine them together, if they're going to combine together, it will keep the chapter of the first cut, because one clip can't have multiple chapters. It's going to keep the chapter of the first cut.
The first chapter will overwrite the other one.
Correct, exactly, because you're combining all of them.
Okay, I try to test the feature for batch processing. Can I use two files at the same time, or I have to choose folder where I have to put these files in it?
You can choose files. You can choose multiple files. Like,
for example,
you can select them here too. You can.
If this file have audio,
it'll be added to the render queue and then start rendering.
It's more of a question of not do we have batch files, it's what does our batch processing do? And we built it for educators that had long Zoom videos, recorded classrooms that had like 15 or 20 recorded lectures, and they just found TimeBolt and they're like, hey, I want to cut all the dead air out of these other 15 lectures and I just want to drop it in and have it output based on what settings I originally used. That output is a rendered video. It's not meant to combine clips. It's not meant to export XML yet. If that's what you're looking for, that's not something that batches is.
I don't think that I will use this feature, but I would like to test everything.
No.
I'm sure to know everything and I can use it in the future if I need from this.
I would not recommend using batch for most use cases. It only matters if it only is useful if the content you're producing is so massive that you can't even watch it once. Like you have so much hours of content that you just can't watch it. You're like, okay, I'll just like put it in, press render, and whatever comes out, I'm good with that.
Okay, can I ask something? For example, if I edit in the future to use this feature, I have to set up these values before I edit the files, or I can change these settings after I add the files, because I saw that immediately after I added these videos to the TimeBolt, it automatically start rendering this file to the queue.
As I said, you're referring to batch processing, right? In context of batch processing.
I'm not sure.
Or normal files. There are two ways to deal with this. One is the way is automatic filter value detection. In settings, there's an option called automatically detect filter value. What that does is if that is checked, then TimeBolt calculates this value automatically when you run each file. But let's say you're recording in a familiar environment, and because you're using the same microphone, how much that value should be for every file, because they're technically recorded in the same manner, those values will be the same. You can turn that automatic detection off in that case and keep a manual value. So if you go to settings, I'll just show you where that is.
Yeah,
if you click on the settings option.
I already check this. For example, if I set it minus 35,
correct, it'll use 35 next time.
Again, will be okay. Can I change this before start rendering, or it doesn't matter what I will do after I added these files via batch?
Yes, that's up to you, your creative preference. If you want the starts to be very aggressive, left padding 0.01 is for when you want like the first sentence to start very aggressively. That usually works for a jump cut type video. If you want to have a video that's like more relaxed, like where you might be explaining something in a casual manner, just like very relaxed, and you can increase the left padding by maybe 0.05, 0.07. Don't make it 0.01 or above, because then it gets too casual. But 0.01 is great for like fast-paced, aggressive starts. And the right padding, usually you keep it above 0.1, because if there is a trailing S at the end or a trailing word where you haven't really finished saying the word, but if you make that right padding value very small, it will cut that word off usually, or in some cases. Keeping it between 0.1 to 0.15 is usually a good idea. The left padding you can play around with. I don't really mind.
I prefer the left padding to be 0.01 because it works. I just wondering, let me say that I want to use batch processing for this file. I think it will start immediately and we'll add this file to the render queue.
It starts immediately. There was one file already in the render queue before this.
Is there any way where we can change these values before this will add...
That defeats the purpose, right? That defeats the purpose of batch rendering. Then it doesn't make sense to batch render because you can rather do that just one by one. If you're going to add the batch processing, it has to be done after one file. The whole reason batch processing exists is that you click one, you select 5 files, you click on it, and it does the whole thing. If you're going to select the values one by one, then might as well put the files one by one.
And you might as well, like, you're not there's who knows what, like, you're not watching it. Right. Let's like the content has to be so invaluable that like you don't think to even have to like watch it. Batch processing.
Again, batch processing is I'd say it's a very rare use case.
Yeah.
Most people are not going to do it.
Okay, I understood. I have another question for Umcheck option. When I record the video, not always I say the correct sentence from the first time and I have to repeat it a few times. Anything that I repeat that it's not correct before the correct sentence to be get ref only to keep the rest. Is there any way where I can let me show example? For example,
I think you're talking about retake. You're talking about when you have a scripted video or something to that effect, you say the same thing over 2 or 3 different times to get your best take, right?
I don't use the scripted video. I start and directly say what I think, but sometimes the sentence not sounds good and I have to repeat it a few times before I receive the perfect result that I want. Let me show you something. For example, this one. Okay, let's say the first part is the part that is not correct, the second part is not correct, and the third part is the correct way. Is there any way where I can mark, for example, a few segments, for example, this one, for example, this one, and after I mark the end, these segments, I decide that this is the correct sentence from these segments?
This is kind of like a big question. How much creative power can you give AI? Okay, what if your best version of what you said was actually your second sentence, right? There are software out there that will, like, people throw it in and go, oh my God, I don't have to do anything, until they come back to the realization and they actually watch their video over again. It didn't pick out the best sentence. It actually have to go back and make corrections that AI, well, that's not what I like to say the best. This one was actually, you end up going back and fixing a bunch of mistakes for AI that you could have gotten done faster by watching your content once through, right? And using, if you've got, because I do this all the time, right? I have scripted video, I have unscripted video. I know like what you're saying. You're generally saying something similar. What you're looking at is like, if I say something over 3 times, okay, and the last take is my best one, I just remember I said it twice, I just hit B twice, right? And then just to confirm that that's what I wanted, I hit the U key to unwind and go back 3. Then I just listen to it and yep, I'm right up. You get the segment you want. But Umcheck is not going to go in and arbitrarily select a segment based on how many times you said it.
Yeah,
it'll look for repeats and stutters. Like, but you're saying it's not even scripted. We can't even go back. Umcheck will look up to 5 words long. So if I said, just like I just said that twice, so if I said, it will go back and cut off the first so if I said. But if you're like, I was thinking if I said, and then you said, so I said, it's not going to compute those 2 as
they're not the same sentence,
even though you have the same intent behind it. And that's not going to do it with AI either.
I know that's, I'm looking for another solution, because if I change the sentence, the sentence will sound on different way. Umcheck will not help me because I have different components. That's why I'm asking, is there any way where I can mark, for example, this part start here, and after I hear this part here, and I know that this is the last part that I repeat this, I tell myself,
you can use the markers only itself. You can use these markers itself and then clear them afterwards after you're done with that section. There is a clear markers.
What you're doing right now.
You can mark them with M, and then once you're done with that section, you can just clear them.
How I can bulk remove?
There's a button right there, clear markers.
I want this be silent, for example. For example, if I mark this one, process of listening.
You want to make them silent?
Let's say I start my sentence here. I try to repeat something here, and I say this on different way
Duck, can you show him how you do it?
Are you saying those three sections are all essentially the same piece of content said three different ways, and you want to keep the last one?
This is already edited, but I have.
I understand. What I'm saying is that those two previous green sections you don't want to keep, correct?
For example, this three part I don't want to keep. I want to keep only this one.
Wait, you want to keep which one?
For example, this one, this part that
you said. What you're showing me is you have three separate takes that you've taken that you don't want, and you want to keep the fourth.
But, a few times.
What you would have to do in that instance is you're going to have to hit back cut 3 times. You've said it 3 times.
Hit the B key 3 times. Just hit B 3 times.
Right now, just hit B, B, B.
But this is the problem. In a few times, I forgot how many times I have. Because a few times I have to repeat it more times, for example, 5 or 6 times. After I forgot this, I have to start from the beginning and listen everything from the beginning to see what is the part.
If you want that, then you can use this M, right? You can use the M that you just use. Mark the cuts. You see which ones you don't want. You press the B key a few times. The greens will become red. They will still be marked. And then once you're done with that section, you can just clear markers and move on to the next scene.
Yeah, because the only other option you would have is to be able to mark the very last scene that you kept before you started talking about the new topic, to know where you wanted to back cut to, right? Like if you're saying at 4 or 5, I make this kind of video, and if I start to say something over again, I'm already hitting the back cut key to remove the shit I just said. That was what I'm saying. I'm not like listening to me say the same thing 4 or 5 times.
Maybe I can use in the process mark cut when I see that this is the perfect sentence. In the process of this, I can use one note.
You'll need to mark not the ones you want to cut, but the scene that you wanted to keep before these 3, right?
This is fine, actually. Now we can just clear the markers and move on to the next scene. Or we can add a shortcut for that if necessary.
The only problem on this way is that I have to remember how many markers I have, because as you can see, if I start the video and press the V, I cannot see my timeline stay always here, and I cannot see which part is go silence.
Well, that's by design. The initial version did have it. That's by design. It's not like we don't go back. It's by design, because what happens is you can keep your head there, but you can always roll the timeline back. Like if I share my screen, let me just show you once what I did this. Let's say like these are the files, right? These are the clips. And I know that, okay, I've marked this, I've marked M, right?
Yeah.
Now I know for a fact that these 3 I don't want, right? I can just press B. This is gone. I can go back, and then I can just clear markers. And then when I go back, I'm right here. When I press the up key, you see what I did? I started here. I'm watching this. I know that this is the wrong clip, this is also the wrong take. Well, I'm going to go back, mark them. I'm going to be here, and I know that this is also not correct. Press B again, clear markers. Just press the space bar. It'll start playing from where you are. You don't need to change the playhead. You can just go back, keep pressing B until you're gone. They're all gone.
Yeah, this is
because you have the touchpad, right? You can just do like go back, just keep pressing B until all the mark cuts are gone, and then you can clear markers and press the space bar. It starts playing again. Because if you see what happened, right? If I press M over here, press B again, clear the markers, and now I press space bar, it starts playing from where my head was.
But you don't even have the problem. The problem is that you don't know what you're going to. That's the point of the B key. You don't know what you're going to keep until it's already moved. Like if you're thinking, oh, this is really good, and then all of a sudden you screw up and then you're starting over again, just back cut that scene right then and there.
I tell you a better way. You know what I usually do?
Just cut it right then and there. And then if your last scene is not what you want to keep, that's when you're going to go back and have to kind of re-go through the red, stuff like that. But if 90% of the time your best scene is your last scene, okay, just go ahead and keep hitting back cut if you're hearing yourself repeat until you got what you want.
What Doug is saying is that you have this thing playing right now. I watch this, okay? I watch this whole thing, and I come here. Now, I know that this is a retake of the previous scene. I know that. There's one sentence, and then there's the next sentence, but the next sentence is the same as the previous sentence. I already know in my head that that's a retake. So I just press the B key here instead of going all the way ahead. And then I watch this, and then I come over here, and I know that this one was a retake. I press B again, and I know that this already has like no audio. I press O, and then when I play here, I know that this is the right cut that I want to keep. You don't even have to mark them. You can just get rid of them there and then.
If the next segment isn't the same thing.
Exactly. The next segment isn't the same thing.
I have one more question with Umcheck. How we can use the WA function that is for human if we do not have sound or we have buzzing, we can remove this part. Do you have an example where you can show me?
There is a video which I have on my channel. I think I'll just put that in the
motorbike, or if like you do GoPro video of you like in front of interviewing a customer in front of a jet engine, or turning on a GoPro and have a mic set up and you're hearing all the outside audio noise and stuff like that. It goes through and it only focuses on on the human voice.
Yeah, I can watch this video. I just put it in the chat. That's an explanation of that.
So your whole sound wave doesn't look like just a bunch of sound. It only focuses on the sound where there's a human voice.
Oh, hey guys, my name is Winston, and no, it's on speaker.
Can I make a little suggestion?
I'm going to get to TJ real quick. TJ, do you have any questions?
I just got two things. Nice to see you guys again. One question I had was the company I work for right now, I don't have really access to my laptop. Anytime I have to do a TimeBolt update, I have to log a ticket, and then they remote in and they do it for me and stuff. One of the things, you guys do a lot of updates all the time, which is great because you guys are always nailing down some little issues and everything. But one of the things that I notice is when I see and it asks for an update and stuff, I said ignore it and stuff. And then when I use the tool on the current version that I have, and then when I'm done with the tool, I exit out and it wants to try to do an update as I'm exiting out. And then I get that splash screen saying that, hey, you need an administrator ID and password to do this and stuff. Just something if you can look into. If I refuse it when the program comes up, I really don't want to see the message again when I go to exit out of the program.
And that would be difficult to change because that's like default behavior for every user.
Every Windows app too, I would think.
Every Windows app. If you look at Slack, Notion, any sort of application like that, that's like default behavior for every application that's built on the platform we're using. It will be very difficult for me to change. You have to raise a ticket each time that happens. You can't just.
Well, no, every time you guys do an update and stuff, in order for me to get the update, I have to open up a ticket with IT, and then they set time aside and they remote into my laptop, and I fire up your install and it says, okay, give me an administrator ID and password. He types it in and it goes on its merry way, and I'm good to go for another week or two until you guys give me another update and stuff. That problem I don't have with it. I can deal with that because anytime I got to do an update with DaVinci Resolve or anything like that, they have to do that too. But the point that I was thinking about is even though when I exit out of the program, it asks
I can
me
do
to
one thing
update
for you
again.
though. I can send you a custom version, which is like really farther ahead, maybe like in 7 point something. I can just put 7.000 and send you that version until we are done with 6. And when you get the 7, then you will get it like maybe next month or 2 months from now. And then if you want to update in the middle, you can just go to the website and get it. If you want to get if you yourself want to get the latest version.
Well, I'm sure you will be able to do anything for TJ. I think it's an interesting concept. It's an interesting question though, that besides the only solution that we would know of right now would be don't close TimeBolt down.
I don't think that's possible.
But I mean,
Unfortunately, the laptop that I have doesn't have a lot of juice. I have a difficult time doing a Microsoft Teams meeting and running TimeBolt record feature at the same time. The laptop I have just kind of chokes on it and stuff. So that's another thing that I have an issue. I do have another question.
because you're on a Windows, there's no option between low res or high res or standard, put fast quality.
I'm just saying the laptop that I have that doesn't have enough juice to do anything. And God forbid if I fire up DaVinci Resolve at the same time, I might as well go to bed because it's going to take a couple hours for it to load up. But I had another question about your tool. I'm working on a video that was recorded a while ago, and it sounds like my partner that did the recording, he was right outside of an air conditioner, and I hear a lot of humming in the background. Now, I tried doing some stuff with, they have a noise reduction feature, which didn't do very well. I tried to do the expander and the gate. They have a another tool called the voice isolation, but then I got to drop the $290 for the pro version. I was wondering if you guys had any thought, because let me share my screen if you guys don't mind.
Is this impact? Is there a question about as you're talking about this, is it the quality of the actual voice, or is it how do I isolate and remove non-human audio?
Yes, exactly. If you look over here, these are the air gaps, but you'll be able to hear the noise in the background. So let me just run this real quick.
In this video, we're going to demonstrate some of the effects of moving the user from one user policy to another. So we have
So here's just the background by itself.
a test user called test.
I don't feel like spending $290 for the pro version and then find out that I'm not guaranteed. I can check to see if they have a trial on it or not, but as you can see, your tool grabs the stuff with the air gaps and just totally knocks it out. I just got all the stuff in between where you can hear it.
Do you want the output quality to be good, or is it you want the cuts to be good?
It's the output quality.
Cuts are fine. Your program does its job like it always has been for me. I just need to figure out, and I know this isn't really a TimeBolt thing, but you guys are the audio experts in my opinion. So I figured if there was a free tool out there or something that I could use.
Yeah, there is AdobePodcast. You can try that.
AdobePodcast?
AdobePodcast. It uses some AI mastering technology to basically reassess your audio and see if they could amp it up and remove the background noise. You can just fire it up if you have like, it works in the browser. So you don't have to install anything. All you need to do is upload the file.
DJ, are you using DaVinci Resolve?
Yes, I use that. And like I said, they have a noise reduction feature that didn't do very well at all. And then I tried using the expander and the gate, and that didn't work either.
You can use noise reduction in the Fusion page.
Right here, that's here. It doesn't do a good job at all. It actually makes the video choppy if you try to increase it a lot more and stuff.
But you have to sign up first, right, Quincy?
I don't. Let me try once.
I'd like for you to try.
Oh, no, you don't need to sign. Oh, you need to sign up. You need to have like an account, but it's free. Like you can do it for free. You just need to have an account, I think.
Adobe's photography package.
That's fine.
I'm just using that account right there.
Sure, that's fine. I've tried this quite a bit, and I am very impressed with the quality that they have. It's ridiculous.
Okay.
I think that you have to increase your threshold, because at the moment your threshold is a little low, and if you increase it, you will remove this threshold. For example, if you make it -20 or -15, this will cut the low pass frequencies, and you cannot hear this noise. Because at the moment, I think your threshold -40.
So you're saying over here and turn on the expander and drop that down to 20 or 15?
You can lower, because at the moment your threshold is a little higher. You hear this noise because this noise is not detected. Because we hear the sounds between 20 hertz and 20,000 hertz. Everything below is a noise, and if you can apply low cut filter, you can hear only the high pass frequencies. This noise will disappear.
Do they provide, Quincy, do you think they provide, Quincy, just random, like a way to log in? Could we ever do this? A way to log into this particular tool through TimeBolt and connect with their API that would allow us to do the transfer? If they're offering this for free, is there a back
No, I
end?
don't think so. I don't think they have an API.
A back end way to be able to automatically submit a video and pull it back down through TimeBolt?
I don't think they'll do that. I don't think that's possible. They don't have an API either.
That's the thing. I didn't know if you knew they had like an API or anything like that.
No, they don't. I'm sure they've spent a lot of money making this a very professional tool.
Nice. So for like your really good, like for if you've got really bad audio, if somebody has recorded really bad audio, or you've got a marketing centerpiece for your business, right? Where you're like, hey, look, I've got to get this right. The further away you are from a direct connection when you want to impress strangers, right? Like that's more on the marketing side. I'd probably use this tool just for all of our marketing videos prior to me doing anything with our files in TimeBolt, just to get the audio correct, optimized at least. Because I don't know, I definitely don't like to go too hands-on with audio controls in Final Cut. I also wanted to, is that, TJ, you got the answer you need? Kind of, this is the professional tool that's free that
yeah, I'm going to go for it. I'll check up with you guys next week, or Doug, I'll probably just send you an email later on today, let you know how we made out with it and stuff. But this is a good one to do that, because we got some old quality.
It also masters the audio, but like levels it out. That if there is like a portion in the file where the audio is really low volume, it like rises up. It like normalizes the audio also. It does like everything that a mastering process requires.
DJ, can you open this video in DaVinci Resolve? I think you not press automatic detection from DaVinci Resolve, the best threshold at the moment. You press menu.
Yeah, I just put an hour.
Can you see this function below your graph? At the moment is on menu. If you press auto speech mode.
Auto speech mode.
In noise reduction.
It's next to manual. It's next to manual in the noise reduction section.
Yeah. On
the learn button side. Below that, below the graph.
Now, after you play your audio from beginning to the end, DaVinci Resolve will try to understand where you have more noise and where.
You can try playing it now.
As you can see at the moment, DaVinci Resolve automatically try to change these settings for you to make the best, because a few times in manual mode you cannot do it perfectly.
Actually, Mark, that sounds a little bit better and stuff. I will give that a shot, and then also
I think it will sound great.
I'll test this thing out here. I just uploaded my file here, and I'll test that, and I'll let you guys know about it.
Excellent.
I tested this. This is on function on Premiere Pro from Adobe Creative, but I think in a few times this will change your voice. Will sound a little bit softer. This will not be great for you. But I think if you try to start and go to the whole video with automatic speech mode with noise reduction in DaVinci Resolve, and after that apply low cut filter, this will sound great.
I'll definitely give that a shot. Thanks for the tip.
No problem.
Awesome.
Well, do we have any additional questions, or is that we good to go?
I'm all set. Nice seeing you guys again.
Well, hey, thank you very much for everybody showing up again for choosing TimeBolt. That's it for TimeBolt's office hours on April 11th. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and of course the notification bell when we go live, and we're out of time. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, take care.